Hi, I'm Leona Brown. I have been involved with the MSA for about 10 to 12 years and was president from 94 to 96. I started out as a watercolor artist and am now doing large acrylics. I really enjoyed the Christmas parties. They were great fun. Second, I found the juried shows to be a highlight for me, especially when I was president. I got to meet and see how the jurors worked, to meet them and to socialize with them. That was a highlight for me. How complicated it can be, how stressful it is, and how much time it actually takes. It was a good experience, but exhausting. We would try to do it within a weekend, try to bring down the costs of bringing the jurors in, but also to organize, committees to be able to bring in the paintings. It was a wonderful organization to work because everybody seemed to be willing to do the Joe jobs. I look for my gut reaction, I guess, on how the piece moves me, how it makes me feel. Then I look at the technicalness of it. Is it well composed? Does the artist seem to know what they're doing? But the main thing for me when I'm jurying a show is the emotional impact that it has on me. Yes, some really good friends have been made through the MSA. It helps when you have the commonality of art and art history, and to be able to talk on an intellectual level with other artists. A lot of my social friends don't have that deep passion for art that a lot of the MSA members have, which is really refreshing. It's going to sound so hokey, but it depends on my mood. Like today I'm feeling that I want to work small and sort of intimate. So I'm wanting to work in watercolor. So I go through my pile of stuff to work on and I look at what sort of makes me stop. And this is the piece that I felt that I wanted to work on today. I felt that I wanted to work kind of small and intimate with pen and ink and watercolor. Other days I'll feel as if, I want to work with this giant brush and I want to use scrapers and I want to do something wild and wacky. Well, then I'll work with open acrylics. I have a brush or a scraper that I have attached to a broom handle or one of those rollers, and I'll work large on my large acrylics using that. So again, it's going to be dependent on my mood, on what I'm going to choose to do. Golden acrylics are so forgiving. I use them in conjunction with regular acrylics so that the open acrylics have a tendency, they take much longer to dry. So I can play around and change things without having to worry about the paint drying on my palette in 20 minutes. It allows me to use the paint for a much longer period of time. There's much less wastage. So if you're worried about, it's so much more expensive, but you don't have any waste, because you can revitalize it. You can bring it back to life by just adding water or a medium to it. So it's wonderfully forgiving. You can use your watercolor brushes without worrying about, the paint drying on them and ruining a brush. It's interesting how at one point it was like this limey green. But I would say I'm really drawn to the cool blues. I actually rejoice in them because I can add, a burnt sienna, let's say, to an ultramarine blue and get a wonderful variety of grays. But usually blues make me feel like a prairie sky, I can feel kind of joyful. It's interesting. I never really understood, reading about artists traveling and, the masters and talking about the air quality and the color of the light being so different. But it really is. And I don't know whether it's, the salt that's in the air when you're, by the sea. I have no idea, but it is different. It really is. I actually do live performances. When I had the studio, I would advertise that I'm doing a live painting to music, and I would hand out sheet music, and it would be ABBA was a really good one because their beat was sort of the same. And so we would start the music and I would start a painting. So in half an hour or 20 minutes, I would be moving and dancing and, painting this painting with people singing and, clapping and being part of this whole ABBA experience. And that was hugely successful. So those paintings, I would have sold them maybe a month later because it would take 20 minutes, half an hour to fill the canvas, to have the splats, the the runs and the spray bottle and everything going at the same time. But it'd take about a month to sort of finish it, just to make it feel like a finished painting. And that was really tough because you had to still keep the spirit of the work. But it was great. Then I did an evening of Queen, the Bohemian Rhapsody, It was fabulous. I loved that. It was exhausting, but wow, what a great experience. One of my favorite pieces that I would never sell is called My Grandmother's Box. And it's important to me because my mother helped me with it. I cut up all sorts of old paintings, and actually she helped me categorize all these little squares. She was most likely 92 at the time, and up at the studio she would organize all these little tiles and squares into, these, oh my gosh, these are my great-grandmother's cutouts, and that's what's in the painting, are all these cutouts that she had in her little box. And my mother had kept all of these. And in cleaning out her home, I couldn't throw these out. So these are from old magazines and newspapers, Eaton's catalog. I'd forgotten that I had these. that's why it's so important to me, is that it has this connection to my mother, to my grandmother. And as these objects are flowing out of this box, I have taken my old paintings and added them to the composition and had my family pictures in it as well. So you can see that it's my history, my childhood, my married life, and then my grandchildren are all sort of flowing out of this box as you sort of, and if you look at it from a distance, it almost looks like a river. So things are all flowing out of this box. So my grandmother's box definitely would be my favorite piece that I've done.